All right, what's up, guys? So you have signed up for your nutrition program and it's time to begin tracking. Congratulations on taking this step into your journey. And although you do have a little bit to learn, I will say it only gets easier and your knowledge will build upon itself. So just be patient and the rest will take care of itself. So I'm just going to basically go through a quick day of eating and how you would prepare or how you would log ahead of time in order to make sure that you hit your macros on point. Because remember, it's the total numbers at the end of the day that matters most. So we want to make sure that we're getting those totals in at the end of the day. It's always good to start ahead or before you actually eat the food. So instead of just going throughout your day and logging it as you go, you want to make sure to try to plan and prepare ahead of time, so that way you can make sure that you have everything on point before you actually start eating. So we'll go ahead and I like to start and work backwards. So I'm actually going to start with dinner, and we're just going to assume or say that the macros that we're trying to hit are 100 grams of protein, 50 grams of fat, and 125 grams of carbs. So we'll keep it pretty simple, okay? And we're also going to imagine that we're going to eat 3 times per day. So basically, I'm just going to divide those macros into 3, and that's going to give us our totals for the day, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and try to shoot for about 33 grams of protein, give or take. I'm also going to shoot for about 12 grams of fat, give or take, and then also roughly, let's see, what is that? About 40 grams of carbohydrates in each meal. So if I do that 3 times a day, then I will add up to my total numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and first start with dinner. And not only are we going to work backwards from dinner, but we're also going to start with our protein. We're going to try to get about 90% of our protein logged ahead of time. So shoot for about 90 grams total before we start adding carbs into our meals. So let's say that I want to have a nice steak dinner. Then we're going to go ahead and go with whatever kind of cut of meat you have. So I like to use sirloin just because it's a little bit leaner and you can still have a good steak, but make sure that you're not going crazy on the fat. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my sirloin. Now, real quick, before we do that, I want to make sure that we're adding or logging accurate information. So go ahead and use the code SMJR for any whole food that you're logging, and that'll pull up some accurate info for that. So I'm just going to type in the word or the letters SMJR and then whatever food I'm eating. So SMJR, sirloin. And we're going to see a whole plethora of different food choices available. So I'm going to pick the one that's most like what I'm having, which is this bison top sirloin steak. And I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then I'm going to put the amount that I'm having. So I'm going to have a 4-ounce serving. That's a nice small portion. It gives me about 25 grams of protein, as you see up here. So I'm going to go ahead and log that. And then I'm going to do my next meal. So I already have my protein logged for dinner. Then I'm going to work down and we'll go to lunch next. So I'm going to log my protein source that I'm having for lunch. And I'm going to say that I'm going to have some chicken breast for lunch. Oops, sorry. Once again, we're going to type in SMJR. So SMJR chicken. I'm going to go ahead and search. And I'm just going to go ahead and try to search for, right here, boneless skin chicken breast, SMJR. Perfect. I'm also going to have a 4-ounce portion of that. So real quick, we can adjust the serving size here. So if I'm not weighing in ounces, I can do it in grams. And I actually do recommend weighing it out in grams, so that way we're a little more accurate. So I'm going to switch it to grams right there. And then instead of 4 ounces, I'm going to put that I had the equivalent of that in grams, which is 112. Check. Once again, gives you about 25 grams of protein. And you notice how it's minimal on the fat and carbs. So really taking care of this protein first, because that's usually the hardest macronutrient to hit. So I already have my dinner protein, my lunch protein. Let's go ahead and add some breakfast protein. And I'm actually just going to make it, since I'm super busy in the morning and on the go, I want to just have a quick shake on the go. So I'm going to shoot for, let's see, I'm going to have a scoop of whey protein powder. Now you'll notice how it already brings up an option for me, and that's because I already have this logged in my FitnessPal. So if you do have something in a container, then we'll just use the scan feature, the barcode scanning right here, and that'll go ahead and bring up whatever it is we're eating. So I'll just show you on this example of peanut butter, okay? And although this is a fat, we're gonna go ahead and just scan that real quick. and then you see how it brings it up, and I would just go ahead and check that. Okay, that's if I was having the peanut butter. Since I'm not, I'm gonna delete it real quick, and we're gonna go with the whey that I was just talking about. So whey protein powder, and I have 1 serving of whey. So cool, now I have, let's see, so now we're gonna double check what we have so far. I'm gonna go down to the nutrition, and we're gonna see how much protein we have so far. So I have 80 grams of protein so far, 3 grams of carbohydrates, and 5 grams of fat. So I could log a little more protein, but you know what, I'm gonna hang tight, and we're gonna go ahead and log our carbs next and see if some of our carbs also have additional protein that's gonna raise that number up, okay? Because remember, we're only shooting for about 100 grams total in the day. So I'm gonna go back, hit this X, sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my dinner and log my carbs for the dinner, okay? So basically we're just building our meal plan here, guys. So with my steak that night, I also wanna have some potatoes, okay? So I'm gonna start using the food items that are already logged in my database, but we would still use that code SMJR if you're brand new. So since I already have white potato, I used it recently, it just pops right up for convenience. I'm gonna go ahead and log, I'm gonna say that I had 200 grams of potato, which is usually a size of a decent potato, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and log that, that's my baked potato, and then I'm gonna go to my lunch. Let's go ahead and log our lunch meal. For lunch, I want to have some rice with my chicken. So once again, it's gonna pull up the most recent entry that I have in my database, white rice right here. And I'm gonna have about 200 grams of that, which is about a cup of cooked rice. Go ahead and log that. And then I'm also, hold on, buddy, okay? I'm also going to log my breakfast carbs, and in the shake I had some blueberries. So let's go with frozen blueberries, and the serving that I had of that is 150 grams, perfect. So if you guys are wondering like how you know how much of what to have, you gotta kind of do trial and error. So I know because I've done it enough times how much to put in there, but you guys can just kind of, you know, log a number, plug it in, see if it fits, see if it works, and if not, just reduce or increase portion sizes depending. Okay, so blueberries, I'm also gonna have a banana in that smoothie in the morning to make a nice little protein, banana and blueberry smoothie. So I had 100 grams of banana, which is about 1 banana. All right, let's go ahead and see how many carbs we have out of that. So we have 130 carbs, 90 grams of protein, and 7 grams of fat. So we already are kind of over 5 grams on our carb goal. So you're gonna see, I'm gonna adjust slightly. I'm gonna take down some of that rice that I had at lunch so that I can make room for some more fats. And then we should be able to hit our numbers pretty much spot on. So fat will always be the last one to log because it usually other foods already have some fat that is associated. So you're gonna, and plus since fat is the lowest number of macros that we're trying to hit, then it's usually the one that is easiest to meet. So we're gonna go to about 175 grams of rice, boom. You know what, I'm gonna actually make that 150. Let's go ahead. So you guys, it's really up to you. You know, this is just, you know, take it down a little bit. We're gonna take care of our fat now. And with that baked potato that I have at night, I wanna have some butter on it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and type in some butter, boom, boom, boom. And butter salted, 1 tablespoon. Let's go ahead and add that. Okay, so that should be a good amount of fat for my dinner. For my lunch, I wanna have some avocado with my chicken and rice, and that is a fat, so I'm gonna log in some avocado. Avocado right here, perfect. And then for my breakfast, I do want to have some peanut butter. So we'll go ahead and show that scan feature again since I do have this jar of peanut butter right here. And I'll just go ahead and log that. So we're gonna go ahead and down and double check to see where we're at with our macros so far. So if you see we have 97 grams of protein, we're pretty much spot on our protein. And we wanna get within plus or minus 5 grams of each macronutrient. So we go down, we have 128 grams of carbs, we're good there, and we got 44 grams of fat. So I actually want to try to get a little more fat so I can hit closer to that 50 gram goal. And I know it doesn't seem like that much of a big deal, but honestly, try to get as close to these numbers as possible because there already is some variable and some room for error just in tracking alone. Like all these are just estimates in the first place. So as close as we can get to that, the more precise we can be. And I'm gonna go ahead and exit out of this. I'm just gonna increase a little bit of that avocado. So let's go ahead and bring this avocado up to about 70 grams from 60 grams, boom. And let's see where that brings us. Double check it. 45 grams, awesome. So we're 5 grams away from each macronutrient, which is where we wanna be. So fat, and if I wanted to increase that more, I could just add a little more butter and that could take me right to 50 grams. So for all intents and purposes, we have hit our macros for the day. If you remember, we were trying to hit around 50 grams of fat, we got 45. We were trying to hit around 125 carbohydrates, we got 129. And we were trying to hit around 100 grams of protein and we got 97. So you can see how by planning ahead and actually working backwards from your last meal first will really help you out, and also starting with the protein. So we'll go protein, carbs, and then fat. That's the order that we're gonna log in, and kind of just, trial and error. Find the foods that you like, find the foods that fit best, and remember to plan ahead. You'll be golden. One more, let's go.